Hey, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. Today's junk journal is made from this 1930s antique book, and I love the title. It's called Happiness Hill. It was plain besides just the title in this deep forest green. So I made all of these little flowers out of antique paper, and this is the interior signature spine of an antique book. And this is from an 1800s interior spine, which has just got the most beautiful texture and coloring and old glue on it, old leather left behind, just stunning textures. All I did was add some ribbon and lace and seam binding here. That was the same color as the font on the front. And then we've got some beautiful lace and crochet bits around the edges. So let's take a look inside. It is very chunky and absolutely stuffed, overstuffed probably, with antique and vintage ephemera. I don't use any commercial products in any of my journals, which you can find on hyperstamper.etsy.com. So let's take a look at this really pretty journal. Here we go. I'll go as fast as I can. I left the original first page intact. As you can see here, it's a 1932. A 1930s children's book page, and then I have a pressed flower here with more interior signature spine. This is really cool. This is from 1940, and this is a embroidery pattern. Isn't that neat? Look at how sweet that is. That was for a tea towel. So you've got the pansy and the glasses. So sweet. I have a whack of these that I just acquired, so you'll see a lot of those in my journals coming up. Antique music sheet, and this is a vintage recipe book page that I turned into a little miniature ephemera book that you can journal in or take apart and use in your collages. This is from 1915 from Girls' Own Annual book, and it is just got the most stunning botanical images on there. Aren't they gorgeous? So you can use those as well any way you like. Lots of really fun clusters in this book, so pay attention to the clusters if you like that kind of artwork in your journals. And then over here I've got a very old piece of a book just for interest. Some little dudes there. And then this is a really neat piece. We've got Camping in Yellowstone Park advertisement, and this is from 1895. Very, very cool. And this is also pretty neat. This is from a music sheet piece that you would have bought, and that is from Showboat from, I believe, the 1930s. Isn't that neat? Wonderful. 1950s embroidery book page, hand stamped vintage school book page. This is from 1950, the Cote Brothers. And then this is one of the original pages from this book, Happiness Hill. And I've put in a very pretty old vintage hanky in here, and you can use that any way you like as well. Very, very sweet and beautiful. And on the flip side, I have this gorgeous little antique postcard. Isn't that neat? And that is from the early 1900s. And speaking of which, this is a really, really cool page. Look at this beautiful corset image here. This is from 1926 from Delineator magazine. And then look at these awesome advertisements as well. So again, you can have an awful lot of fun with this. 1926, can you believe it? So cool, almost 100 years old. Another 1930s children's book page. This is from the 30s as well, 1937. I personally love this one because it's how they made type for books, and I'm always very interested in that. More here. Stamps that. This is from a vintage botanical book, and this is a wonderful plate from the 1930s. No, sorry, oh my gosh, I want to say 1920s children's book. Wonderful plate in very good condition. And then over here, just a great vintage dictionary page. Look at that beautiful bird's nest, a warbler's nest, and then there's the warbler there. This is a 1920s Up One Pair of Stairs page. Look at the mom kissing the baby over here. It's from a school book. This is an awesome book page from 1925 from the Wonder World series. Stunning bridge in a brook. Child's Dream of a Star. Another Up One Pair of Stairs page here. 1940s children's book page here. And then this is a really fun one. I took a lovely little children's book page with a poem about daisies, and then a vintage recipe here, and a hand-typed research paper dated 1888. Lots going on here, right? Right. Love it. Okay. And a 1937 diary page, January 13th and 14th. And I can swap that out for a different date. You just have to let me know at purchase, at checkout. Just another blank antique book page there, and a vintage pocket here. 1930s. Vintage Monopoly money and a chance card. So this is very, very old. And this is a vintage, actually this is from 1940, so that is a vintage postcard there, 1942. And this is from a Pitman's shorthand book. Isn't that cool? 1924. It's a very, very cool antique book page there to journal on. Here's another one of these little booklets that I made into a journaling space, made out of 2 very old vintage playing cards. And then a 1920s banknote here, which I love the numbering on the back. That one is 111. And then this is just a little tiny bit with 3 botanical pages from a vintage botanicals book in the pocket. I just loved the title of this book page here, Impressions and Memories. Perfect, right, for a junk journal. Another 1937 dictionary page. 1937 diary page. And this is the end page of a New Trails book. Lots of spaces to journal on there as well. And I have more clusters down here. 1940s children's book page here. Look how, run for home, run for home. I love it. This is a great map of Illinois, and it is from the 1920s. I love it. And over here is a geography of Illinois. So very fun. You can see the students writing in there. More of those wonderful children's book pages. And 1930s Handbook of Nature Study, vintage botanical page. And look at this gorgeous doily that I just got recently. I really like it. And you can actually pull that out without damaging it. So I tucked that in safely for that. 1930s plate from a bookkeeping instruction book. 1950s receipt here. Another one of the original blank pages from this book. And this is a 1934 Paris, France Almanac. 1920s banknote again, and more of that wonderful page. And then this is just a really cool little plate, black and white, but it's absolutely adorable, and I believe that is from Dr. Dolittle. And then just a really fun fold over. This is from 1904, 1902 Young Folks Library. And this is the interior spine of this book, which I love to use when I can. Recipe from the 50s, botanical plate from pre-1910, and another children's book page, a peekaboo page here, journaling on the front, and another color plate here from the early 1900s, pre-1910, with a beautiful boat. Flip side of the almanac. This is from 1882, this one, and it's called The Birthday Tree. And then a little butterfly image down here from the lessons book. And then another, the other side of that book plate there. And the last original pages of the book, the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. It's in my Etsy shop now, so don't forget to come back and subscribe. Bye for now.